Let's tell you about the Education Department in Gauteng. It has released its findings into the death of a grade 6 pupil, Sibusiso Mbatha. The report implicates the deputy principal of Khehlekile Primary School in Thokoza. Mbatha took his own life last month after allegedly being bullied by the teacher. Newzroom Afrika's Zola Sholwana is following developments where this is concerned. For us, Zola, to tell us more in terms of the nature of this bullying that has forced this young person to take their own life.
Well, Dudu, the attorney that has been handling the investigations with regards to Sibusiso Mbatha's case has presented findings, and those findings are actually pointing out to the vice principal of the school by actually saying that he, homophobically abused the late Sibusiso Mbatha, and also included other 3 teachers, one of them being the HOD, his class teacher, and also the principal. So the other 3 that were also included in the findings that were presented were obviously, charged in a sense that they do not handle the matter well. Actually, I'm joined by the MEC, Matome, Chiloane, to tell us more. So thank you very much for your time. The findings obviously have been presented at this point. Your reaction as the department?
One is that obviously it's quite unfortunate that they are in this form, where our educators are found to be responsible for what had happened. It's a situation which we don't want to find ourselves, because we expect utmost professionalism, utmost sensitivity, utmost care from all our educators in Gauteng, and we do provide training thereof, to all of them on how to deal with such situations, because learners are always going to be altercations. But how you handle it is what matters the most, and so we are quite disappointed that we find ourselves in this position.
There's been quite a number of suicide cases, particularly in Gauteng schools, over the past month. As a department, how are you planning to address the issue?
We have a set of interventions. We have partnered with NGOs. We have set up a hotline, a toll-free number for all of our learners. We are continually going back to our school, especially now because we know this is a period of a lot of pressure for our learners because it's examination time. There's a lot of anxiety in our kids, there's a lot of discomfort. So we have set up all those interventions in place so that our learners can go to. For instance, our matriculants had to sign not only one pledge of conducting themselves in a particular manner towards exam, but they also signed a pledge for mental health to say if they are finding themselves in this position, they will know who to call. They need to reach out to the school, reach out to the hotline. We've got the professionals on the other line. We have partners with our sister departments where we have social workers, psychiatrists in there, so that everybody. So we've really set up this team to assist us to deal with this. And so we just want our learners in the schooling community to really contact us if they find themselves in a position where they need to talk to someone before they take drastic measures. So we have put in place, but some are not using it. That's why we find ourselves here. And also, more importantly, the biggest contributor obviously might be the pressure from school, might be the situation in school, but parents will also have a program to train them on how to deal with their children from when they come back from school, because how you react to them, you might not know that you might be the last person to save them. Stop them from doing something drastic, but you don't realize as a parent, you're thinking, this is my child. They're just being silly,
Now, MEC, speaking about training parents on how to deal with such measures, how are you planning on training, or rather teaching your own, which is, the teachers in this regard, in terms of dealing with children with different sexual orientation?
Look, we have a policy, code of conduct, we've got policies that guide, and at the center of our policies, obviously, we have taught our educators to respect the Bill of Rights of our children, within law, corporal punishment, and all those aspects, victimization, homophobic utterances. We've got all those in place. It's all about actioning from our educators, and our educators know very well what they need to do in such an instance. So as to why they have not done it in this case, obviously Now we find ourselves here, but we want it to be a lesson to every educator that you really need to handle this situation of sexual orientation and victimization of learners very sensitively, because you are actually violating their own existence, as outlined in the Bill of Rights.
Thank you very much for your time, MEC. The MEC also mentioned that this, of course, will disrupt the process of learning at this particular school. But as a department, they already have worked out an action plan in terms of temporarily replacing those 4 teachers that have been, allegedly involved in this particular case. And he also mentioned that they are expecting this process to take about 3 months for them to reach the final end. Now, in terms of the reaction of the family, they're quite relieved, because this is what they said in the beginning. And of course, at that point, it was still accusations and investigations had to be carried out. Now, after they heard the findings that were read out by the attorney that was handling the investigation, they were actually quite relieved, and they believe that at least justice has been served, or rather this is the beginning for justice to be served for their late 12-year-old. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much for that report.